what does that look like? How do we compel American politics, the American government, the political means to repay something that they won't even acknowledge that they owe? How do we do that?
It's real simple. The words of Biggie Smalls, we won't chase them, we'll replace them. It's just that simple. We cannot continue to beg, we have to boss. We cannot continue to ask the same leadership that has been in control, amen? We cannot continue to ask the same leadership that has been specifically in charge of the Democrat Party over the last 60 years to continue to give us what we are owed. And yes, Republicans are equally responsible. Just to be clear, I'm an independent, I am nonpartisan, I do not align with the Democrat or Republican Party, but 90% of black people who actually vote for the Democrat Party. So with that being said, we have to get to a point where now we are putting people in the mix to change the game. We have to build our own bench. Just 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, Georgia, I did a training called Push the Line, Politics Until Something Happens. Over 300 black people, I want to be crystal clear about this, 300 black people showed up for training on time, an hour early on 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and we pushed through 12 hours of content to learn how to be candidates, how to be operatives, to control campaigns, because a lot of the campaigns that you see with black faces, they're controlled by white folks. So it's important that we have candidates who actually align with our agenda, who are not afraid to call out those who need to get called out, including those from their own political party, including black folks. Then we need operatives who actually run those campaigns, who are in charge of the communications, in charge of the field, in charge of all of the things that encompasses in the campaign. And then we need organizers that push issues such as reparations that work hand in hand with the candidates as well as the operatives. So I am over asking them to do right by us. Bottom line, they're not going to do it. The question is, who is ready to step up and be a candidate that is willing to disrupt and be okay with somebody saying, you're going to split the vote or you're causing problems. We have to get in a place, a position of power, because the bottom line is you cannot pass policy if somebody doesn't vote for it. So rather than asking those to continue to align with us, let's put our own candidates in the mix. And if that means you have to run 2, 3, 4, 5 times, keep on running until we make something happen.
Vote for any candidate who's either non-committal or against reparations. Okay.
Hell no, excuse me. It's Sunday, pardon me. But no, hell no. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not good enough to just be black. We have plenty of candidates, plenty of people who are in charge of leadership that's black. I'm black and vote for me because I'm black. We can look at Daniel Cameron, who is black in Kentucky, that sold out Breonna Taylor and all of the things that came with that case. So black is not enough. And he got voted in based upon him being the first black attorney general. So if we are not looking at exactly what they stand for and running the receipts to be able to show and prove that you are who you say you are, and be okay with questioning that, and then also calling it out. I am done with the behind the scenes calling folks out, let's be quiet. One of the things that you hear a lot is, well, you know, I have to vote for a Democrat because they're easier to fight, but I don't see nobody fighting. Let me say it one more time. Y'all say they're easier to fight, but I don't see nobody fighting. So we have to get to the point where we're okay with calling people out and putting them on blast to correct themselves. Ice Cube said it best, my brother got his shirt on, check yourself before you wreck yourself. So if we are not in position to check folks, there will be no running of the check. So we gotta check folks on site, make sure we hold them accountable, vote them out, or send somebody to replace them.
There are a lot of buses going to Freedom Lane, and it don't really matter which one you own or who you agree with or doesn't. There are people that are not on this panel that have issues with people on this panel. I wore this shirt, some girl said it should have had Ice Cube here instead of me, God bless her soul. So I brought Ice Cube. I'm a disciple of the Church of Ice Cube. But I invoke the name of some people who weren't here. I'd like to invoke the name of Ben Cobra. I'd like to invoke the name of Dr. Claude Anderson, and just say, once you leave here, get with 10 people at your church, at your mosque, in your houses of worship, or just that you organize with, and on a very local level, take your ass to the conferences that Tez is throwing on, watch what's going on in California, because if it happens in that state, listen to the other panels that we have in reference, whether it's seeing a documentary or listening to these brothers on a daily basis, but get with 10 people and do something, push the line, because it's gonna happen, but it's only gonna happen if we agree to fight less publicly and cooperate and collaborate and strategize behind closed doors. George George Jackson compelled us, before he was murdered, escaping to prison, compelled us to get secret and quiet about the shit we do. And I love this because this galvanizes us, but the white folks don't need to know everything we talk about. The United States government does not need to know every move you're gonna make, and you should be making moves on a local level. You should be vetting prosecutors, vetting judges, vetting candidates. And the first question, we got people running for all type of offices in Georgia right now. What's your stance on reparations? Georgia's 35% black. We got a lot of farmland. They're going to bring marijuana and everything to casinos in here. I want to leave you with what Robert Smith said. And he was the guy that paid for all those Morehouse kids tuition a few years ago, and we loved him. And right after he did that, the IRS investigated. We should have been standing with him in a stronger way, but I'll give you this. He said American corporations should be giving 2% of their profits to the African American community. And that's something I had never heard. I've read Frederick Douglass' stance on reparations. I know Dr. King was pro-reparations. I know the people on this panel are not. But I've never heard a capitalist. Mind you, I'm not talking about somebody asking for corporate welfare. I'm not talking about saying, can you file a 1C3? This man is in the business of making money. And he said that the private corporations make so much money that he had a 2% plan. I just want to invoke us to go down all the buses that are on the way to Freedom Land. Find a bus that you like and get your ass on it. That's it. Find a group of people that you can organize with and organize locally. And lastly, black folks, you deserve something for your marriage to that piss poor party you married. You deserve economics. You deserve a political voice. You deserve leadership roles. And the black working class, it should just be us college niggas talking for you. You should be talking and running for office and winning. I love you. When y'all get y'all check, I'll come to y'all house for dinner because I'm broke.
As goes on there, what are the conversations that are being had? I feel so far away from y'all. I can just bridge you to the people. Might be done. But what happens on that panel? What do you guys do? What is the, no, it's all great. It's all great. What's the process that you guys are actually going through to make this happen?
Provide some context, the California Reparations Task Force is based on a piece of legislation called AB 3121, which was championed by grassroots reparationists in California, working alongside elected officials who are also pro-reparations, namely Shirley Weber, who is now California's first African-American Secretary of State. And so AB 3121 was signed into law by California Governor Gavin Newsom in October 2020. It took about 9 months or so to get all the task force members recruited, and we had our first meeting in June of last year. So the California Reparations Task Force is a 2-year effort. The first year was dedicated to the study phase, where we invited people to provide expert and personal testimony on a variety of topics, essentially around the atrocities against the African American community, starting with the transatlantic slave trade to the institution of slavery and the harms or atrocities that bore out of enslavement, like Jim Crow, racial terror, political disenfranchisement, the list goes on and on and on. And then the second and final phase we're in, we're calling the development stage, where at the 9-member task force, we're actually coming up with what the forms of reparations will look like, and that will be memorialized in our final report that will be released June of next year. I'll also like to add that we have an interim report that we released June of this year that memorialized what we've studied. So it's a 13-chapter, 500-page report that catalogs the atrocities against the African American community, not only within the state of California, but on a federal level as well. And that report is available free online. You go to our website at oag.ca.gov/AB 3121. And again, it's 13 chapters, and in each chapter, it not only catalogs the harms against the African American community in California, but on the federal level as well. So no matter where you are in the United States, that report that we released June 1 is relevant to you. And you can use that report as an organizing tool to get your legislators engaged and involved in reparative justice initiatives where you are, in your city, in your state?
People want their ideas at the forefront. As a community, serious question to everyone, strong voices, all of you guys, unique voices. How do we stop maybe some of the bickering that goes on between us when it comes to this issue and put the good of Black America or anybody's personal movement, anybody's personal political stance, anybody's personal media presence? Like, what do we need to do to better work together on getting the money that we want? Anyone can take it.
Well, one thing, the reason why we have the FBA movement going so strong is because we needed to delineate to determine who's owed reparations and who's a foundation of Black America. Because what would happen is when we talk about reparations, you have people who look like us, but they come from an immigrant background and they're already getting benefits as an immigrant. So us talking about getting something, they look at that as, well, he's gonna take money out of my immigrant pocket if we give money to the FBAs. So they get around us and try to sabotage and get off code. So it was important for us to delineate in a respectful way to say, hey, you're not owed, we are, and we have to focus on what we're doing. So that's one thing, not letting outside groups come in and infiltrate because they have some kind of personal vendetta because they're not even owed reparations here.
I'm gonna push you gently here. I'm gonna push you gently. When you say outside groups, some people would say that sounds divisive. I mean, we're all Black. I understand what you're talking about in terms of who's owed the money and who's not owed the money. But do you think that we should be maybe possibly, I've talked to you a lot before, brother, maybe a little bit more, I don't know, inclusive in the way that we have these discussions, so there's not them versus us?
Listen, they had the Emmy Awards like last week. Anytime a non-FBA person won an award, Jamaican-American actress Cheryl Lee Ralph won an award. The minute a person who's of Nigerian descent becomes a PhD doctor, Nigerian-American PhD doctor, anytime they do something positive and constructive, they go out of their way to delineate from us, which is cool. Take your win. When we want to do something positive for our group, we're told we're being divisive if we're talking about reparations specifically for us. So they have to respect us the way we respect them.
Everything that they do. There has to be a point of division in order for us to separate and then unite among the like-minded of our people. So let's make this very clear. We say we want to call people out, let's make this all the way clear. Everyone knows who is real and who is not. Because there are some of us who are banned from every damn way because of how absolutely legitimate we are. So when you want to call people out, first they must be pointed out. We cannot unite with slave makers, slave owners, traders, turncoats, nor collaborators. It ain't gonna happen like that. Too many of us are Black people with white minds. And so when you put people in front who say they speak for us, but at this point it is 2022 going into 2023, and we are still in the same position, if not a little backward from where we were when it comes to our overall progress, I call conspiracy. Now, before anyone says conspiracy theory, conspiracy means when two or more groups, organizations, or individuals come together to do something that is evil and or wicked. It is an absolute conspiracy. You have too many Black billionaires and millionaires who do not fund projects for Black grassroots organizations to come up out of the condition that they're in. Too many people chasing the bag, but you don't get no damn respect because you sacrifice your people to be included in somebody else's group. So, let's stop the nonsense, cut the cap, in the game. This generation ain't playing with this no more. I want us to all understand this. There is a separation here. The commercialized talking, everyone wants to be soft and talk soft. The enemy doesn't give a damn about nothing you call yourself. You call yourself a Moor, Hebrew Israelite, you say Black, you say FBA, all of that. We are considered niggas to them. That is the very plain, simple reality. If you are a Black millionaire but you can't speak the truth, you are nothing but a rich slave. And I will never trade my place with someone who has a lot of money but no respect for my own people. Too many of us get comfortable once we get a check and we forget where we came from. And you don't want to even go back around your people because you feel like we're not even worth being around. So at this point, again, this is a nice stage, a wonderful event, but knock it off. Those who are really about this, be about it, so that the enemy can say, you know what, we need to stop playing with these people and give them their real respect.
Training was, it's all about we, but it falls on me. And that was about being okay with separating yourself from the BS. No other community, a group that goes into our communities and owns beauty shops and nail salons and convenience stores. They never sit around and say, let's all get together and have one big convenience store. Why we can't be together? We spend so much time talking about being together instead of being okay with standing alone, solo dolo if need be. They own shop after shop after shop after shop. And then you look at it, the whole community has been monopolized by one particular group. We are the only ones that sit around and beg people to get on the same page because they too pussified to stand firm for black people. So I'm okay with being by myself. If it's me and 10 other people that's pushing the line, remember Gideon's army only had 300. We don't need 10,000. We need 300 riders that's ready to push the line all the way, call out what needs to be called out, including folks, even folks that we like, and continue to push the line. We cannot continue to soft shoot around this topic. It is not, I wouldn't say that it's the opposite. When somebody says you're being divisive, I would say no, it's actually you that's being divisive because you're trying to put us all together to calm down the voices that are loud enough to call out folks that need to be called out. I get it, it makes some people uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, somebody got to do it. So when people tell me, well, you ride with this person, I ride with that person, my response always to them is, well, he got to call him out because he damn sure not. We got enough people on the other side that are making excuses for those that are abusing us. We need more people on this side that's willing to lose the bag, lose the contract, miss the opportunity for the show, miss the opportunity to be elevated on high platforms when we are continually living low in our communities.
In the intersection of arts, entertainment, and social justice. So we need more athletes involved. We need more musicians involved. We need those people involved in this space. Some athletic organizations, professional athletic organizations have reached out to me preliminary, wanting to get involved in the California Reparations Task Force, but we need more. So to answer your question in terms of how we can work together, we need to connect the dots, work alongside who's in our network in the entertainment space, and push the conversation forward.
It would be nice if we did have entertainers and athletes. Unfortunately, they are held to the plantation tighter than most of us. We really need the grassroots doing it because when we had an athlete, our good brother Colin Kaepernick, stand up for black issues, we see what they did to our brother. And they're still black already, brother. When you're dealing with the white supremacist corporate structure, you kind of have to play ball with them. What we need we need all of you on the grassroots to really push the line and keep the politicians in order to say, hey, we're not going to vote for you. We're not going to vote blue no matter who, just because you're dangling some butter biscuits at us. We need you to bring tangibles to the table. Because we as black people, we deserve something. You're giving something to all of these other groups and you're not giving it to us. You don't have to go blue no matter who. If Herschel Walker offered a check, I would vote for Herschel Walker. I would have to spell reparations for him,